many guards killed when Dillinger escaped? Can you tell us how many sheriffs have lived here at one time? How many kids lived here at one time?
Can you tell me what showed up today?
Bouncing the ball.
Ball.
You hear us?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
How old are you? 8.
You just got told to sit down. Now we get told to leave. Cards. I have an ace of hearts.
That's none of us.
I have a king of hearts. I have a jack of cards. If you're able to beat my cards, I'll give you that 45 cents and a cigarette.
I heard that. Hope I got that. I'm gonna knock again. Do it again. If that's John Dillinger, bang something louder. Guess you don't like banging loud when somebody asks. Did you like Johnny Depp portraying to be you? Did he do a good job? Dillinger, are you here with us? There we go. Can you bang any louder?
I'm Fawn here with Park County Paranormal. We got to experience actually one wonderful night tonight. I'm so glad we got to take and be here with you guys and get to experience this for our very first time. I have with me Sandy, which is the president here for the Old Lake County Sheriff and Jailhouse. And then I also we got to have a guest with us today, which was wonderful. From Riverbend Paranormal, Indiana, I've got Tim and Ricky with me. I do have some questions for you guys concerning the jail here and everything. However, you guys, when I answer them, it's perfectly fine with me. So, Sandy, here, this one especially with you. Do you know how John Dillinger was treated here?
Actually, he came in as kind of a little bit of a celebrity already. And when he came in, they took him upstairs. He stayed in federal lockup for about a week, and then they moved him down to the main floor. But Dillinger had a great personality. He was a very charismatic person, so he made friends really easily. And so it was said that he pretty much made friends with everybody here. They thought he was a great guy while he was here.
Do you know if there was possibly any members of Dillinger's gang jailed here as well?
Not that I know of Dillinger's gang. We had some of Capone's gang members here, but not of Dillinger's gang.
Okay. No, you said that he was in federal and then moved. Do you know where his cell was after he was moved?
I know where his cell was in federal because they actually welded an extra bar on that cell to keep him in there. And then the decision was made to move him down to first floor, and that's where he stayed until his escape 3 months later. From newspaper clippings and reports and everything that was read, he was in the last cell in the criminal cell block on the first floor.
Do you know approximately how many total documented and undocumented deaths that have happened here?
No, it would be hard to tell. 1882 to 1975, we have some log books, not complete information on a lot of years that went through. And then when the move was made in 1975 to the new jail, a lot of things weren't carried over into the new jail, so no, we don't have a number on that.
Okay. Now, do you happen to know, you mentioned about the logbooks, who could have possibly been the most dangerous criminal that was ever housed here?
There were so many. There were honestly a lot. This was a county jail, and our county is pretty big. I know there were a couple famous murderers that were being tried for murder. George Brown, the Indiana Dunes Slayer, he was here. He murdered 2 women and buried them out by the Gary Airport. We had James First Sammons. He was one of Capone's hitmen. He was here. A lot of drug smugglers, bootleggers. I mean, there was a whole list here.
Okay, it's basically quite a bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Now, you mentioned the whole thing with John Dillinger's escape. Has there ever been any reports about how many guards were on duty at that time, and about how long the escape lasted?
The escape started at 8:30 in the morning on March 3rd. And then he rounded up everyone working in the building that day and locked them into a cell. I believe there's 9 names for the people that he locked in the cell that day as he made his escape from here.
Okay. Now, this actually would be a question that would be for all 3 of you guys. Now, have you guys had any experiences of being here in the jail yourselves, even with you guys on investigations, that you would like to take a share at all?
Go ahead, T-Dog.
Oh, man.
What was one of your experiences here?
As I was telling him earlier, I do what I call a fear challenge at every location I go to. And the first one I ever did here was in John Dillinger's cell. They chained me up and blindfolded me to the bar. It's in the middle of the cell. And I had multiple devices set around me. And during the fear challenge, I didn't know what happened as I was doing it because I was blindfolded. But later upon, we had a K2 meter sitting on the bars. And within the first, 6 or 7 minutes of my challenge, the K2 meter starts lighting up. Well, the funny thing is you, on the other side of the bars, you see what looks like a ghostly hand manipulating the K2 meter.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and then towards the end of the challenge, the K2 meter went off again, but it didn't have that same effect. You can see this hand moving around. And it wasn't a reflection of the bars, because the bars are all, rusty and, the paint's chipping. And then within the last
It was
couple.
hanging, we had it hanging too on the bar.
Yeah, but, and then within the last couple of minutes of my challenge before they came and got me, there was a weird bang noise on that bottom bunk where the dummy is.
I remember you saying that when we came and got you,
Yeah.
something just moved in here, like you sure it's not the mannequin coming to life?
And it wasn't me because I'm standing back away from the bottom bunk, I'm chained up here and, kind of.
Well, we were watching you on the monitor the whole
Right.
time too.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Have you had any experiences being here?
Quite a few. Yeah, mainly mine happened 2 times in federal. The first time, mainly just feeling fatigued, drained. The second time is more intense. Actually, going down by one of the cells, it's like somebody sat down on the bench, and I was rolling my camera at the time, and that was when we were all up there, because we were sitting in solitary, or that one cell that we were sitting in, I can't remember. So Tim had asked me, he's like, hey, where were you seeing, because we were seeing shadows earlier. There was like somebody just kind of peeking out of the cell. Well, he's like, come show me, where it was at. So as I walk back, that's when something sits down. And I pan my camera over to it, and I just at the second it happens, you hear it, and I'm like, whoa, hear me react to it. Not even 5-10 minutes later, I started feeling sick, I had a headache, and then next thing I know, it's like, I gotta get out of here, because I went into almost like a full-blown panic attack. And I literally had vertigo for like 8 hours after that.
Something random, so me, Sandy, Jackie, and my wife were sitting in the federal area. I think it was the last time we were here. We were sitting on that little makeshift bench. And out of nowhere, I felt something kind of run its finger sideways across my back. But I didn't say that at first. I thought maybe it was my hoodie rubbing the wrong way. And then within a couple of minutes later, my wife said, something just touched my back. So I was like, really? Something just did touch my back a couple of minutes ago, but I thought I was,
Right.
And she's like, no, something just
I've
touched my
been
back, but
touched
it went
as
from
well.
top to bottom on her, and it went from side to side on me.
Oh, wow.
So,
I've been grabbed down by NSL by the second, that one
yeah, he
person
was,
likes to grab.
did you explain to him what happened to you up front?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm getting to it.
Okay.
That's the cream of the crop. So as I'm walking with his son, we were setting up, and we had a DVR camera pointed right at the end. So like, okay, now we're gonna go set up the next camera. As soon as I get by the cell, I literally feel someone's hand grab my leg and pull. I'm like, whoa! Good, did you trip on something? There's no wires. I was like, no, something just grabbed me. Well, numerous times poked, kind of like how he was saying, I've been brushed upon, and then we're standing outside getting ready to take 10 pictures. I'm the only one standing over here by myself, everybody else is behind me. I literally got groped around the leg in the groin area, out front. Yep, and here I am later, now known as Joe Osnack. So,
There's not, we've been here several times and we've never left without having some kind of experience.
Have you had any experiences while being here at all?
I've been here 11 years, so a lot. I'll just give you one real quick one. Third floor, we had had a psychic there, and she told us that she felt there was a priest there saying Latin prayers. She didn't know if this was a priest like visiting the inmates or an inmate himself, but we thought we'd try a little experiment, and I was playing Latin prayers on my phone as we were standing there, and then I realized that it felt like I couldn't swallow. And I tried again, and it felt like I couldn't swallow, and then it felt like pressure around my neck, like somebody was actually like choking me. So yeah, turned off the Latin prayers, walked out of the area pretty quickly, because that was like, yeah, that was the weirdest
that
thing
is
that's ever
intense.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you said you've basically been here for 11 years. Would you happen to have been here while they were doing the films for Public Enemy #1?
No, I came in the year after.
Okay. Have you heard of anything that Johnny Depp has possibly experienced while being here?
He did make a comment that he felt like he was being watched all the time. Yeah.
In the residence part of the sheriff's house here, do you know of any possible experiences that have been reported in the residence?
By investigators?
Yes.
Well, one night we had, in the gift shop area, we sat on the floor in a circle and we had K2s in a circle. And we had been talking to what we thought was a child, so we started duck, duck, goose. And every time we said duck, duck, and we'd say goose, K2s would light up in a circle. And we actually Facebook Live that for like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And every time we said goose, boom, they would go in a circle. So we believe we had like a child spirit playing with us in the house.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty neat,
Yeah.
actually.
Good idea.
While being here, including with you guys also, have you had any other investigators ever report being harmed in any type of way here?
Yeah, yeah. There's been, scratches, burns, pushing, that kind of stuff, pulling hair. A lot of people, we've had people pass out, we've had people get sick,
Mental
physically
attacks, I
sick.
mean, myself included, your brother.
Yeah.
Your brother's case, last summer we were here, just was not himself, like, something came over him.
We
You
call
could
this
just tell
like
in his
mini
eyes.
possessions.
Yeah, it was
We've seen
like
a
he was
couple
oppressed,
people
it was
through
the
that.
weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Until we
You
get
could
them
just see it in his
out
eyes.
of the building for
Yeah.
a little
But once
while.
you got outside, went across the street with the.
Yeah.
It's fine,
Yeah.
back to Chris.
Yeah.
With the inmates that have been housed here, I'm doing research myself. I know have been women housed here. Approximately about how many women do you think at one time has been housed here at any given time that the jail has been open?
There's 2 women cell blocks, and there are 3 cells in each one, 2 bunks in each cell. And there's overcrowding here all the time, but I can't really give you exact numbers. But I know that they did house women here and there was overcrowding, so.
On that note, while John Dellinger was here, has there been any reports or anything stating that John Dellinger has possibly maybe have seen a woman being mistreated here in front of him?
I haven't seen any reports like that, no.
With the jail riots and everything, usually has there been a lot ever been reported being here during the time of operation?
Riots?
Yes.
Oh, there were many. There were hunger strikes, there were riots when, they used to have on the visitor screens, they used to have glass. And the inmates had a huge riot for unfair treatment. They wanted screens on there instead of glass. So that was one riot. They've used tear gas on inmates in here. Inmates have set their bunks on fire. That was one of the reasons we had no windows on the 3rd floor. One of the deputies had to run up, bust out all the windows to let out all the black smoke from the building when the mattresses were all on fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
With that, were there a lot of inmates that were ever killed due to the riots?
I don't know if it was due to the riots, but we did have homicides and suicides in the history of the building.
Did you ever have any guards that were ever killed during the riots at all?
I don't have any reports of guards being killed during a riot.
Okay. Were they, while on duty, even living here, do you know of any sheriffs that were ever killed?
Sheriff Roy Holly was killed on duty during a property dispute. He was shot and killed, and that's how his wife Lillian Holly became the first female sheriff of Lake County. She finished his term of office.
Including with the juveniles, do you know personally about how many children have ever lived either in a jail or in a residence at any time?
In the residence, the number varies because from 1882 to 1958, families lived in the house. I do know of a census that was taken in 1957 that showed there was a 3-year-old little girl here and a 7-year-old little boy that lived in the house at that time. As far as juvenile in jail, I do not have full records for that either. A lot of the history here has been lost, so we keep trying to find more and more of it that we can. And then there was a juvenile center built in the 1960s. And then there weren't juveniles here anymore after that time.
Okay. All right, well, thank you guys so much.
No problem.
All
All
right.
right, thank you. I hope you guys have a great time tonight.